think coal is rooted in the fabric of Indian society.
The guy who's ironing your shirt to the person who's making your chai, every part of the economic chain is connected to coal or coal-related consumption in some way or the other.
Coal we are having in abundance.
Coal was the thing that gave us not just electricity but also light.
Coal is the king, but now the king is taking lives of the people.
You, me, anyone who's breathing this air cannot escape the ill effects of air pollution.
India is facing a very big conundrum when it comes to coal. It is the world's fastest growing major economy, and it is focused on trying to become a manufacturing hub. If you ask me if there's a way out for India, for coal, I don't think there is one.
मेरे को 30 साल पार हो गए सर कोल इंडिया में। हमारा मामा से बड़ा पापा, मेरा भाई सब मेन कोल इंडिया में है। जितना भी हमारा मेहनत लगता है हमारा कंट्री के लिए ही लग रहा है। ऊर्जा का बिना कंट्री आगे बढ़ ही नहीं सकता है। ऊर्जा के लिए तो कोयला चाहिए।
We went to the Gevra coal mine in Chhattisgarh, which is sort of like central eastern India. It's huge.
Gevra is the second largest mine in the world, the largest in Asia, of course. This is a very prestigious project for India. This mine supplies around 7 states of the country. 17 to 20 thermal power plants receive this coal. Gevra becomes mega not only in terms of quantum of production of 60 million tons, but you see that the strike length itself is around 10 kilometers.
Many countries, instead of coal, they are blessed with natural gas, petroleum and oil. So why coal? Coal we are having in abundance. The reserves can last for next 100 to 150 years. As the economy is growing, energy needs are there for making more urbanization and making all the villages connected. We have to be utmost careful with the environment point of view. The entire coal loading will be the first mile connectivity with the rapid loading systems, thereby reducing the dust emissions. With these measures and these fixed sprinklers and mist spray during mining operations, we should create less disturbance to the environment. If we dedicate ourselves with environment sustainability, I think in the years to come, coal mining along with environment sustainable measures, we can take it further.
India is a massive country. I mean, the most populous in the world with over 1.4 billion people. It is for sure the world's fastest growing major economy at the moment. This is an economy that today makes iPhones, it makes electric cars, it makes semiconductors, it makes high-speed trains. But to keep pushing for all of that, it needs electricity. And one of those key sources of power is coal.
I think many people don't understand the scale of coal's importance in India. Of all the electricity used in India, 70 to 75% of that power, so 3 in every 4 units of power is generated using coal. Renewable energy is playing a larger role. It's probably over 10% at this point, but it's growing fairly slowly.
लाखों लोगों को नौकरी दे रहा है कोल इंडिया। कोल को जब बंद कर देगा तो नौकरी के लिए सवाल है। नौकरी मिलना मुश्किल हो जाएगा, चाहे डायरेक्ट हो चाहे इनडायरेक्ट हो। बहुत सारे उनका पालन पोषण इसी में चलता है।
Coal India employs few 100,000 people, but around the industry, including transportation, local economies and everything, almost 20 million people are dependent on coal for their livelihood on a daily basis. You can't change that by snapping your fingers. And so how to disentangle local economic life and political life from coal is much more complicated than just an energy transition question. I think it's a cultural question, it's a political question.
India has made huge strides when it comes to economic growth. I mean, if you compare with a few decades ago, when it was merely seen as an agricultural economy.
I'm an assistant professor of public policy at IIT Delhi, and I've been studying the Indian coal and power industries for the last 15 years. Industrial coal production in India really started in the late 1800s as the British colonial project came to India, but it was largely a privately held industry.
It was actually the East India Company that we all love to hate that gave us coal as an energy at the time.
This changed dramatically in 1971 and 1973 when India passed 2 laws to nationalize first the coking coal and then the entire coal industry.
Coal India, as we know it today, became the large state-owned company. And today in India, you have some of the biggest Indian groups like Adani, Jindal, and Tata owning and operating some coal mines.
In the last 50 years, coal has become the primary fuel of power generation. It has also become a major importer of coal from Indonesia, South Africa, and Australia as well.
I'm Bharti Chaturvedi. I'm an environmentalist based in Delhi. Growing up, coal was the only energy that we knew. As a person of extreme privilege, we all face things like, 6-hour power cuts, 4-hour power cuts for half a day. We are in the 21st century. It's only now that every village is on the grid. So you may be on the grid and you could get electricity, but a lot of that is likely to come from coal.
More people have been taken out of poverty. And in very basic terms, to keep sustaining all of that, India still needs coal. Today, the world burns nearly double the amount of coal that it did 25 years ago. Energy economists kind of believed coal use was in sort of like, let's say, structural decline. But increasingly, that trend has been, let's say, reversing.
I call it beautiful, clean coal. I told my people.
In the US, for example, President Donald Trump has styled himself sort of like as a coal champion.
Coal is your cheap backup option. If nothing else works out, at least you still have the coal power.
The future outlook for coal worldwide largely depend on countries like China and India, which are also the world's largest producers, but also some of the world's largest polluters.
Your past is coal-based and your present is coal-based because you're earning from coal, especially if you're in the ecosystem, but you're also breathing in the pollution.
Net zero बनाने का लक्ष्य रखा है.
The government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made very big pledges, including achieving net zero emissions by 2070.
This is an interesting debate which has been happening in the last 15, 20 years in international climate kind of conversations, that a lot of developed countries have started phasing out coal or have phased out coal, but India and other emerging markets have struggled to, right?
I think we're now at a position where we realize that we've had to do what people did in the richer countries in the wealthy part of the world a long time ago.
The US's transition away from coal was largely powered by cheap natural gas that came through fracking. Similarly, the availability of large amounts of natural gas in the European power system enabled many countries, including Germany and the UK, to kind of move away from coal. Natural gas is not cheap for India. India doesn't have it available domestically, and importing it is unduly expensive.
If you look at the historical emissions, India has less than 5%, even though we've had such a significant percentage of the world's people. We really have to look at common but differentiated responsibilities. In a lot of places like Germany, who had that whole Ruhr Valley program, and they just became Germany from the coal industry, and they got their pollution and they got their acid rain and they spoiled their black forest, but then they managed to set it right and they were moving towards being a green economy and a wealthy country.
India, especially in the COP, has been pretty adamant about energy security and per capita emissions as its kind of primary metrics of what should be allowed for the international carbon space.
We will do our bit, but that doesn't mean that we will do what we're told to do. We will do what works for Indians. Coal is a really complex creature because it's brought so much hope to this country. Entire generations have come up and been able to send their children to school because they could earn from coal or the coal ecosystem. Then there's a future, which means finally we're getting electricity, we can read, daughters can actually do something. But in this present, you are breathing something in that is polluting you, but it is also giving you another kind of bright future.
India is the world's third largest carbon emitter after the US and China, and coal is a major pollutant. Although not just from coal, but over 1 billion people in India are exposed year after year to air pollution that can have an impact on their health.
I'm a chest surgeon. I see lungs every day. And in the last 35 years of my career, I have seen a change in the color of the lungs of people. That's the normal lung that we are born with. And this is how I see the lungs of adults these days. Can you imagine if a child has this much of carbon and toxins deposited in his lungs, his or her lungs, what will happen by the time they reach 40, if at all they reach 40? It's like a termite, termite eats the wood from inside. On the surface, the paint is intact, but inside it's making you hollow. Same thing is happening to our bodies.
India is paying a price for being a major pollutant. I mean, the burden on public health is huge. India has a huge balancing act to play in the next few decades if they want to make that pledge of net zero emissions by 2070.
So you fix targets for say 2040, 50, 60, 70. But as a doctor, the kind of horrible damage I'm seeing every day forces me to request them to respond to it in the same manner that they did when COVID was there. What somehow is not getting understood is that this also is a problem of almost similar magnitude. If you have COVID, you go, your diagnosis is COVID. When you die, your cause of death is COVID. Today, you get pneumonia, cause of death, pneumonia. Where is pollution? Since pollution is not getting written as a contributing cause of disease, disability, and deaths, that's the reason it's not getting the attention.
So there are studies that show that the long-term exposure to air pollution increased death by 1.5 million deaths per year in India.
No country in the world has solved air pollution by letting the air getting dirty and then trying to clean it. London, entire Europe, West, Beijing, how did they solve it? By addressing the source and rectifying at the source so that the air doesn't get polluted. If Beijing can do it, why can't Delhi do it?
Coal is far from being problem-free in India. I mean, once coal is discovered in one place, some communities may get relocated or displaced in the worst cases.
गारे गांव में लगभग 150 करीबन परिवार रहते हैं। 8-10 गांव तो हमारे क्षेत्र में, मेरे गांव से जुड़ा हुआ गांव है। कम से कम 5 से 7 हजार की जनसंख्या यहाँ से उजड़ चुकी है, मान के चलिए। पेपरों में बाहर पढ़ते थे हम लोग कि यहाँ खदान खुलने वाला है। ये लोग क्या जाने कि खदान रातों रात खुलता है, मैंने जमीन ले लेगा, यहाँ से भगाएगा आदमी को। कुछ जमीन में बिना खरीदे किए हुए जबरदस्ती उसमें काबिज हो गया है। तो इसी विषय का लड़ाई झगड़ा होता है कि हमारा ज़मीन जब हम बेचे नहीं है तो आपने कैसे मैंने ज़बरदस्ती मिट्टी डालकर मैंने इसे काबिज कर लिया है करके। जो अंतिम संस्कार करने का एक जगह बनाते हैं उसको रात में मिट्टी डंप कर देना, मतलब काबिज कर लेना। तो हमारे पास और विकल्प नहीं है। वहाँ मुख्य फसल है यहाँ धान, अरहर, उड़द, मूंगफली। एक खेती हमारा वो भी है, डोरी है, महुआ है, तेंदू है, चार है, जिससे उनका रोजगार मिलता था। तो ये सब चीज़ भी खत्म हो जा रहा है हमारा। इसके एवज में क्या देगा सरकार हमको? धूल जो इसका उड़ रहा है ना, घर घर तक जा रहा है, धान पान में हो रहा है, खेती बाड़ी में हो रहा है, और फसल का पानी का स्रोत नीचे चला जा रहा है। इसलिए हमारा फसल दुभर हो जा रहा है। कोयला चाहिए सरकार को, देश को भी कोयला चाहिए, और हमारा ही काम है। लेकिन हमारे साथ जो कर रहा है वो ठीक नहीं है।
तो करना ही पड़े, फायदा ही है ना। 140 हेक्टेयर मतलब करीब 700 एकड़ हो गया।
My name is Sudeep Srivastava and by profession I am a lawyer or attorney, you can say. I am also an activist, actively protesting extensive coal mining in India. They are extracting, chopping forest, destroying land. The real cost of mining has never been documented. It completely destroys the vegetation, agriculture field. It disturbs drainage pattern. It generates huge amount of pollution. And in coal mining, it generates methane. And when you burn this coal, then again another set of pollutant, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, carbon monoxide. 75% of the farmers are small or marginal farmers.
which means they won't have more than 2 acres of land. And what is worse in that, they are being displaced again and again. Why it's being pursued? Renewable energy, sun, electricity, grid. Whereas in coal, there is a mining part, then theft part, then transporting part, then washing part, then reject part, and then when you burn it, then the business of ash. There are 5 to 6 avenues of earning money.
I am the chairman, founder and CEO of Renew, which is one of India's leading renewable energy companies. I started Renew in 2011 because even at that time it was clear to me that climate change was actually a very big issue and that renewables was going to be a big part of the solutioning. We have currently about 12 gigawatts of operational capacity between wind and solar and storage. We also now make solar panels and solar modules and solar cells. In 2019, the government set a target that by 2030, we had to get to 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel-based power generation capacity, mostly coming from new renewable capacities to be set up. So in the last 5 years, if you look at all the new capacity that has been set up in the power generating side, almost 80 to 85% has really been in renewables. And my suspicion is that over a period of time, a lot of our current coal plants actually could get replaced by nuclear plants because they have the same broad dynamics.
I covered big mining countries before, Chile, Peru, the Democratic Republic of Congo, which are known for metals like copper, and where mining is sort of inherent to those nations. But before moving here to India, I really never thought of India as a mining country per se, except when it comes to coal. Coal seems to run through India's veins. I mean, India holds the world's 5th largest coal reserves.
I don't believe that we're going to see an India without coal in the near future. And the reason is that at this point, most of our energy is coming from coal.
A phrase you've seen in the discourse a lot lately is this idea of just transitions, right?
We have to have a just transition.
And the idea behind this is that fossil fuels have created a certain culture, economic dependence, which needs to be phased out over decades through economic planning.
So whether you're a transport wala or a chai wala or a dhaba wala, which is a tea stall or a little, cafe, all of your clients and your whole business is based on coal. You can't just say, train them to do solar, because solar is mostly on the west and a little bit of the north of India. And all of this coal is on the east of India primarily. So you can't just take 15 million people as if the people on the west don't need jobs at all. So you have to have very, very local level solutions.
I try not to be a fortune teller very often, but what I think is likely, coal-based power generation will decrease by a few percent every year as a percentage of the whole. Renewable energy and other alternatives will increase. But for India to go from 70% to 30%, it'll take 25 years.
My feeling is that coal will get fully phased out by 2070, if not before. 1, it's going to be more expensive than anything else. 2, it's dirty and it's carbon emitting.
Energy cannot come only from renewables. So thermal coal is going to stay for next 10-15 years.
So far, the progress in renewable energy and non-coal power generation expansion doesn't give me much confidence that at least in the next 10 years, the absolute amount of coal generation is going to decrease at all.
Coal lights up the economy. lights up the country, in a way lights up society. I mean, coal will definitely be phased down, yes, but not phased out completely.
A sick society cannot have good development. To develop economically, you need healthy people. And if the air pollution continues the way it is, the society will be unwell, and that is going to affect the development.
I mean, like it or not, coal is what's keeping India lit up now and will continue to do so for the next few decades at least.